Richard Baumgarten here.
Richard Baumgarten?
Yes?
Hi.
Oh, Sol Iannaccone?
Right.
Hello, Bill.
How are you?
Oh, credibility. What's your pleasure?
It's starting to get nice out, huh?
Well, if you want to look at, in comparison to, what it's been, yes.
So, the thing that I called today, I wanted to talk to you about today, was that about a month ago I sent you a letter. I think it was February 12th it was dated. And in that letter, as we had previously discussed over the telephone,
right,
I indicated to you that I had hired a John Miller.
Right, I know John quite well from Garvey, Wagner, and
right, to release certain information from ECMC.
Right.
And I paid him $1,000 to get this information. And just about, as it seemed that,
you never got it, I think.
That ECMC was going to be compelled to release this information, John Miller sort of withdrew and said, to get another attorney. Now, he may have had, personal reasons.
Who knows?
But I don't know. But anyway.
I guess the bottom line is,
right?
you never did get that information.
No, you read the letter, right?
Yes, I did.
And, in the letter, there is certain proof, right, that I was seen, and
there was a particular doctor
consultation and an injection, right, that was given by Bernard H. Smith,
right,
and yet in the records that I was...
You're talking about this was way back in 68?
Right, in the records that I was provided,
right,
okay, there was no consultation mentioned,
right,
there was no injection mentioned, okay,
right,
and, when they were compelled, for further discovery,
right,
ECMC actually refused. Okay? So that is sort of like an admission of guilt that they have the records, but they don't want to be compelled to release them.
Well, the point of the matter is no other further matters were made for contempt or any other punitive matters or anything like that, because at that point, John Miller stepped down or stepped out or took an excuse or just pretty much withdrew from the scene.
There's more involved than ECMC. There's also the probation department involved, okay? There's this one certain probation officer.
Oh, Erie County Department of Probation?
Right. There's this
so there was criminal matters or something like that?
No, nothing criminal. All it was that I was on the insistence of a friend of the family. I was introduced to this certain probation officer.
Right.
And his name was Gerald Merrick. Okay? Now, I have been it's been since explained to me by other relatives of the family,
right,
okay, that he sort of took advantage of my mother and says, well, he told my mother I was an incontrollable minor and therefore it would be necessary and, be for my benefit that I would be, be ordered by the family court to undergo certain tests and so forth.
Right.
And
I wonder how he entered into it. Was this through the family court that he became involved in the probation department?
Right, okay.
Okay, now
it was the family court that ordered me to ECMC.
Right.
Underwent, unusual treatment.
Right, I hear what you're saying. This was pursuant to an order of the family court.
Right, and,
I figure you had to be pretty young in those days.
Yeah, well, I was 15.
Okay.
Okay, and the information that I received from one in particular, Buddy Fury, was that this probation officer was, in fact, sort of, he had, gotten my mother to consent to these treatments, and this probation officer was, from this...
How did that originally come about? Were you there pursuant to a Pinn petition or a JD petition?
Right.
A Pinn petition.
Right.
So in other words, there was a petition before the court indicating you were a person in need of supervision. There was a truancy problem, there were home problems.
Yeah, just a truancy problem, that's it. Okay?
Yeah. And so as a result, you wound up being given care and treatment.
Right.
Okay, I got
And this individual, this probation officer, I've been told by Betty Fury, what she said is that he was anti-Semitic. In other words, it was more than that.
Anti-Semitic?
Right.
Well, Iannaccone doesn't sound Jewish to me.
Well...
Nothing personal, mind you.
Well, this is what Betty Fury stated,
Well, that may or may not...
She told me that there were tests that were given, you know, and so forth. And she said that this person had tricked my mother into consenting to it.
That may very well be. I've never met this Mr. Merrick. Is he still with the probation department?
I think so.
I met most of them. His name doesn't ring a bell. Of course, it's a huge probation department.
Right.
You know.
And the thing is, you know,
I haven't met
I don't believe that I'm the only one that had undergone these tests.
Very likely not. I suspect
I think I'm going to discover others because I have others in mind, you know, that I'm going to look into.
Okay, this is the final line, though. We want to do one thing at a time. We're going to represent you in your appeal. We're primarily an appeals outfit. From time to time, I do a criminal trial. Even every now and then, I'll do a medical malpractice. But my basic area or spectrum or orbit of cases concerns mainly appeals. That's what we hold ourselves out as being expert. In our opinion, we are one of the few law firms that primarily specialize. The type of work you want done really is more in the line of negligence, specialists in medical malpractice, things like that. And quite frankly, though, we don't have the resources and we don't really have the inclination to get into that type of work. This is without telling you, putting like an imprimatur or a judgment on what is the merits of the case. Clearly, something happened of a very significant, problem, of very serious significance. I think I'm trying to tell you is that our office, at this point, we feel your interests would best be served by us representing you on an appeal. And that's what we will do. We'll give you one heck of an appeal. But as far as the other matters, picking up where John Miller left off, that's going beyond the type of work that we feel we ought to and should be doing.
Well, can you say this?
Maybe I might even be able to recommend one or two other attorneys that I can look around that may be willing to become involved in it.
Do I have the time to look for another attorney? I mean, there hasn't been.
Well, let me put it this way to you.
Legally, how does it stand? I mean, you've read over the letter, and I sent you all the
look at present, there's still an order ordering them to give you certain stuff, isn't there?
Right.
They've never complied with it.
Well, they've never issued they've never complied to it, and they've never, as far as I know, there was never an order by, a second order by Judge Gossel stating that, ECMC has been released from the prior order, right?
Okay, Bill, I'm going to, next week or so, consult several attorneys that I may be able to direct you to. If I can give you the name of someone else that can pick up where Mr. Miller left off. But all I'm saying is we don't have the staff. My people are primarily appeal people. I do some, as I said before, I do some trial work. I do some malpractice. It's primarily with another attorney named Lazaro when it comes down to trial. But basically, we're appeal attorneys, and I also do family court work, neglect, abuse. I do some parole matters. What you're really looking for is someone that is pretty hefty with malpractice and negligence, and someone that is also is a civil practice and motion practice. It's getting a little bit out of our ambit.
Okay, since John Miller sent me a letter stating that he doesn't want to go any further,
no, I understand.
That gives me a certain amount of time to find another attorney.
To a certain extent, yeah. To a certain extent.
What? I mean, we have at least what?
Well, I can't give you a certain amount of time at all because there is no statute of limitations. In a certain respect, if you want to sue the hospital, technically speaking, your time is, may have gone by. However, there's always the thing that,
They were doing research for another agency.
Yeah, well, that's something, and you could always argue, like the LSD type of experiments that the results weren't known or you didn't know. You didn't have any reason to believe until the last 3 years that certain experiments were done. You can argue that and try to beat the statute of limitations. It's a cruel law. But what you need to do at this point is nothing else for your own peace of mind is to get the information and know in your own mind's eye what happened.
Well, you know, at this point, at least they can admit, you know, the contents of the injection.
Yeah, that may make you feel better, you know, in terms of satisfying questions that you have concerning the treatment. You know, every person ought to know exactly what's been done to them. It's your mind and your body. You know?
Right.
Somebody has, from your point of view, tampered.
So would you,
I would, pardon me?
Would you next week, you know, maybe have a couple of...
Yeah, I will look into it, and before referring anybody, I'll just mention the type of case it is and see what I can do. I've got a lot of attorney friends of mine that have different specialties. So let me, I want you to give me a ring back in about a week, okay? And let me see if I can refer some people to you.
Okay.
And I will do it. I think, quite frankly, you are best to be represented by a specialist in a given point of view. In other words, for an appeal, I think your interests lie best with our office. For this type of work, I think your interests would lie best with another attorney that particularly specializes in civil motion trial practice, which we do not.
Okay.
So I would feel it would be ethically sound on my part if I can't do a particular job, or if I don't feel that our area of expertise is in your best interest, then I will see if I can find someone or refer you to someone that can.
Yeah,
there are attorneys out there that do
there's
it.
going to be more involved.
Oh, I'm sure. But we need one step at a time. The first thing you do is you need a little bit more information than what you have.
Okay.
You need to do a little discovery and get that information from the hospital. And the only way to get it is for a court to make them give it to you. I have pretty much of a handle on it, but it's very expensive. It may lead to very serious repercussions. I don't know, and I feel that myself and my staff, we're putting our resources into very long and lengthy appeals. We've got about 50 now.
Okay, well, give me a call a week from now.
Would you do that, Bill? Give me a ring about 1 week from today. And at that particular point, I should have the names of 3 or 4 attorneys that I feel quite confident and comfortable in recommending.